You know what the Iranians did? They laughed at Obama and they said he's a stupid son of a... Iran was a country that was in deep trouble, and we should have never taken the sanctions off before we finished the deal.
Donald Trump has been saying for nearly a decade he wouldn't approve of an Iran deal like the one he just made.
I would have made a deal not from desperation. I would have doubled and tripled up the sanctions, and I would have made a much better deal.
Trump argued that one of the biggest mistakes that Barack Obama made in 2015 was giving Iran access to money and frozen assets.
We've rewarded the world's leading state sponsor of terror with $150 billion, and we received absolutely nothing in return.
Now, Obama didn't simply give Iran $150 billion like Trump claimed, but he did make financial concessions, like unfreezing assets or lifting sanctions, which Trump argued repeatedly made Iran stronger.
It's a one-sided transaction where we're giving back $150 billion to a terrorist state, really the #1 terrorist state. We've made them a strong country from really a very weak country.
And now, Trump's own administration has signed a deal that commits to making Iranian frozen funds available and lifting sanctions. Trump of the 2016 election cycle argued that the United States gave away its leverage too early.
Trump, the art of the deal, right? 101. We say, okay, and we took the sanctions off. We got nothing for that.
And it wasn't just Trump. In 2024, then vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance argued that one of the best ways to pressure Iran was to cut off their oil money.
If you want to check Iran, the way to do it is to, one, withdraw their oil money.
But under Trump's newly signed agreement, the United States agreed to immediately issue waivers allowing Iranian oil sales. And on Monday, it announced a temporary 60-day license authorizing the production, delivery, and sale of Iranian oil. Just weeks ago, while these negotiations were underway, Trump was still publicly rejecting sanctions relief.
No sanctions, no money, no nothing.
And Trump's top deputies were making similar arguments.
Any sanctions relief is condition-based, which means it has to be in return for the reason why those sanctions were put in place in the first place, which is their nuclear program. So yeah, look, Iran is being sanctioned because they enrich uranium.
So as senators Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance backed legislation to block Iranian frozen funds from being used even for humanitarian purposes, they argued that money released to Iran, quote, could not be reliably prevented from funding future terrorist attacks. Now they're backing a deal that could do exactly what they spent years warning against. The Trump administration argues that this comparison isn't fair. A senior administration official told CNN it would be, quote, moronic to compare the agreement to the legislation once backed by Rubio and Vance because of the military action against Iran and the conditions attached to the release of any frozen Iranian funds.